You probably clicked on this video because you were curious whether you should spend money on green glue. Now, I've made green glue videos in the past that have had this really strong stance, like don't use green glue. But as I've gotten older and wiser, I come to look at green glue as a tool in the toolkit, just like any soundproofing isolation tool out there. And recently I had a project where I questioned using it again. And the reason is we had a really tight ceiling of 7 feet, 2.5 inches exactly from the concrete slab to the bottom of the joist. I was already losing some ceiling height from the 2 layers of drywall, so I thought, well, I wonder if adding green glue in between those 2 layers of drywall would actually help the sound isolation, because I had a drummer who was playing in the basement below, and I was like, oh yeah, let me take a deeper look at this to see if green glue is worth it. This video is how I came to decide whether I should or should not use green glue for this client. Let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what is green glue actually doing? So green glue is actually working as a dampening compound. It's a viscoelastic polymer, to get super nerdy and scientific, but essentially what it's doing is it's turning vibrational energy in the drywall into heat. So essentially what happens, if you can imagine in your mind, is sound hits the drywall layer, it starts vibrating the drywall, that vibration in the drywall transfers to the sticky green glue layer in between the 2 layers of drywall, and that vibration gets turned into heat from the green glue compound that's in there, and then less sound energy transfers to our second layer of drywall and then into the room. That essentially is how it works, and the rest of this video will explain how well it works and what frequencies it works at. Alright, so I got a lot of the information we're talking about in this video from 20 different test documents that were done by different companies on green glue over the years, and they are readily available on the internet. If you search for them, that's how I found them. You can find them too. But for privacy reasons, they don't want people sharing them without their permission, so these are derivatives of that test data, and it's showing what I concluded from them. So to first start off with, I want to show you first off that a wood stud here, this is just a typical wood stud wall with R13 fiberglass insulation, but no decoupling, meaning this is just like a 2x4 stud wall. What happens when you add green glue is you get plus 11 STC points. Now that is huge. And if you're just doing regular construction, that is awesome. If you add resilient channel here, which is, resilient channel should not be confused with like acoustic clips and 7/8 inch hat channel or furring channel. Resilient channel is called RC channel. It's known for not being the best at decoupling. It's easy to mess up, and it's still pretty rigidly coupled into the stud wall, but in that point you get plus 8 STC points. So those are both 2 very common forms of construction. It shows that green glue is actually adding a lot of STC points. Now, what's interesting here is there's data. I didn't have any data for this on the wood walls, but with steel studs, you can see that it adds plus 6 STC points. Again, rigid, no decoupling, meaning there was no mechanism for putting the drywall off the stud, just like these over here got us the plus 11. But this is the really interesting finding, and this is what I'm basing a lot of this video on, is that when we had clips and hat channel, full decoupling, again, what I like to use, in this case, full disclosure, they're using the green glue clips brand is what they're using here for the decoupling, and it only adds plus 2 STC points. So that is huge. That means that the green glue is essentially really effective when we have no decoupling, meaning if you have like a normal stud wall, either metal or wood, you're getting much more value from your green glue than if you have a decoupled wall. Meaning if you're paying for clips, or if you're building a double wall with 2x4 studs with a 1-inch air gap, the green glue is actually not doing really anything at all for you. So that is super important. Another little side thing, you might be wondering, why is plus 11 here and plus 6 here? That's a huge difference. Well, the thing that I think is going on is that metal studs actually perform way better, again, when there's no decoupling, because the metal can flex and it's actually helping to dampen the sound waves. When materials, like when the sound waves hit the metal of the stud and the drywall can flex on that metal more, and the sound dissipates as heat energy rather than traveling into the room. So that's super fascinating on a nerdy secondary level, but it's not really explaining the point, which is that when we add genie clips, suddenly the green glue stops performing nearly as well. So now that I talked about the green glue in the last video versus clips and no clips, I want to focus in on the clips because that's what I'm going to be doing for my client. I'm not going to be building a wall where we rigidly connect drywall to studs. That's just not what we do here at SPYS Designs. It's not what I would recommend anyone do who's building a really strong sound isolated room. So the real important thing to notice here is that green glue is looking like it's performing really well for general construction. So this is probably why it sells so well. If you're building an apartment, a condo, an Airbnb, and you don't want to decouple and spend all this extra money, you can still get real value on an STC point basis from using green glue. But as soon as we get into those clips and true decoupling, true soundproofing, true sound isolation, you'll notice here in this chart, the difference is really small. So we had an STC rating of 62 on this wall. Now this is steel studs, clips, and a channel, and 2 layers of 5/8 inch drywall on both sides of the wall. Otherwise identical assemblies. So without green glue, you get an STC of 62, and with green glue, you get an STC of 64. Now notice how they're pretty similar. Like, where is the difference in 2 STC points here? And the answer probably mostly lies in the higher end. We have what's known as a coincidence dip here with the drywall, which just means that around 2500 hertz, the drywall is probably naturally letting in those frequencies because of the material itself. So the green glue between the drywall is actually helping to bring that band back up there. So that's interesting, somewhat useful. And then down in the low end, we can see at 160 hertz, we get a tiny decibel increase. And down in around 80 hertz and 100 hertz, we're getting, again, maybe like a couple decibels of increase down here. So the 0 to 2 decibels gain below 200 hertz, most of the +2 STC lives up in the 2.5 to 4,000 dip, which is right here. So that's interesting because you might instantly think, oh, STC 64 is better, I should definitely use green glue. But when we look at the individual data points here, we can see that that might be mostly from high frequencies, which aren't going to be a big deal when it comes to sound isolation. We're really trying to stop those lower frequencies in the sub 250 hertz range anyways. And you can see in this graph here, which we took directly from the lab data, there's not that big of a difference. So this leads us to the next question, which you might be asking, which is, what does a 1 to 2 decibel change really mean? We keep talking about decibels here and STC ratings, and you're probably getting a little confused. But when we talked about a 1 to 2 decibel change in the low frequencies, in the low end between having green glue versus not having green glue in a decoupled wall with the Genie clips, or in this case, the green glue clips, we're really not talking about much. And this chart right here explains what decibel differences in transmission loss actually sound like to us as humans. Like, how loud is that, right? So the big one is 10 decibels, perceived as roughly twice or half as loud. So when we see a 10 decibel difference on a transmission loss chart, that's really telling. If we see, hey, we see that there's 10 decibels of loss here, we can imagine that that's cutting the sound volume in half. Now we get down to 6 decibels, that's definitely a change. It's not quite as dramatic as a cutting in half, but we can tell. You get down to 3 decibels, and this is a doubling of the physical sound energy, but from a human standpoint, what we call psychoacoustics, it's almost not noticeable in real listening. And then when we talk about 1 decibel changes, this is where you can start to argue with your friends whether you can hear this or not. Just noticeable difference, and I would say like someone who's a well-trained mix engineer or mastering engineer would tell the difference between 1 decibel changes. But again, it's really, really subtle, and you need really, really good monitors in a really good room to hear that, and a lot of experience. So not really a big deal. And then under 1 decibel, let's just all agree, it's just not that big of a deal. So the green glue's low frequency gain in a decoupled wall was only 1 to 2 decibels, meaning it's in that range of like barely perceptible. Now, I will say, some people might point this out, and they're right, that as we go into the low frequencies, it's not all continuous across all frequencies. So a 1 to 2 decibel change is still not that big of a deal, but in the low frequencies, those decibel changes are more noticeable because it takes less decibel changes for us to perceive the sound as louder. That's just the way low frequencies work and how our ears work. But even that said, we're not getting that big of a change in the transmission loss in the low frequencies to make me say, oh my gosh, green glue is clearly this amazing product that's stopping sound, especially in the low frequencies. All right, so earlier we talked about decibels. Now let's talk a little bit about what does the STC rating mean in relation to transmission loss and what actually sounds like less sound coming through your wall. And this is an STC 64 wall, and it's not a 64 decibel wall. That's a common misconception people have. STC 64 does not have anything to do with decibels. It is a transmission loss curve, so it's like an average of the curve, and it's a contour line, and it's really meant to compare two different walls to each other. So we could say this wall has an STC 64, and this completely different wall over here has an STC of 52, and it lets us compare them really quickly. The nuance, though, gets into the actual graphs, and that's what I'm showing you guys here. So this is an example of the wall that had the clips on it. It had 2 layers of drywall and it had green glue in between it. And you can see how that at the top of the range, it's getting upwards of 75 decibels of transmission loss, which is a lot. But then as soon as we get down to 50 hertz, we're only getting about 17 decibels of transmission loss. So not nearly as much. And 80 hertz, we're getting about 36 decibels. And then the important thing here is that STC, the actual labs, they only measure from 125 hertz to 4,000 hertz. So they don't even reliably measure below 125 hertz, which is really where kick drums and bass and a lot of the sound we're trying to stop lives. So I think this is important to understand too, that when you're looking at STC ratings on these charts, you really don't have a reliable understanding, even from a scientific perspective, of what those low frequencies are doing in these systems. And that's where just experience of a designer, experience of having built a lot of these rooms really starts to take over, because you're like, oh, I know what stops low frequency sound, and maybe it's not necessarily a certain product. All right, so that was super nerdy, and I spent a lot of time researching on this video and kind of going back through the data that I've looked at over and over the years, and I learned a lot. And I think the biggest takeaway that's so important for you guys out there is that green glue does work when it comes to just a rigid assembly with no decoupling, meaning no acoustic clips and channels, or not a double wall assembly. If you're just literally hanging drywall on a stud wall, metal or wood, adding green glue is actually probably a good idea. And in the past, I probably wouldn't have said that, but now I've seen the data and thought about it. I'm like, yeah, sure, this is why this product works. But it really starts to fall apart, and I hope I made that clear in this video, once you do decoupling. And the main thing about that, and it makes a lot of sense if you think about it this way, is at the beginning I talked about how sound comes into the drywall and the drywall vibrates and the green glue dissipates it. Well, what happens when you have decoupling already before the drywall is that the sound hits the stud wall. It then hits your acoustic clip system. A lot of that energy gets reduced, and by the time it hits your drywall and the green glue and the drywall again, the green glue just doesn't have to do its job as much. It doesn't have as much sound to reduce. All the work it would have done has already been done by the decoupling of the clips. And that is really what the data shows in this entire data set of 20 different lab test results that we had here. So bringing it all back to my original decision at the top of the video, I was trying to advise and think about this problem for this client, and I decided I'm not going to recommend using green glue. And I think it's really obvious now, but the reason is that the cost of green glue is not worth the benefit. In this case, because we have a clip system on the ceiling, I don't need the green glue because I'm already getting the benefit of the sound reduction from the clips themselves. If I were to just screw in and not have clips at all, it would be worth having green glue. So I hope that this video brings some clarity to the debate that I think I've had internally over the years, and maybe you guys have had out there on the internet, of what green glue is good at. And it's really, truly good at helping with a system that is not decoupled. So it's sort of a band-aid to an already not so great situation. And what we do at SPYS Designs is we would never do that. We always decouple first, and then we add our mask second, in which case green glue is really never going to be an option for us in any of our designs. And that's what I've been saying for years. And now I hope it's just backed up by even more data and science behind it. So If you're on this journey and you are interested in learning more about whether you are on the right path to getting a sound isolated room, I always recommend checking out our free resource. This is our Soundproof site assessment. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you a bunch of questions and you will answer them, and it will give you specific answers to those questions that tell you whether your site is a good fit for a sound isolated room. And it'll give you a green light, a yellow light, or even a red light, meaning you should definitely move to a different room. But either way, you're going to find out a ton of information of whether you're starting off on the right foot when it comes to soundproofing and sound isolation design. My name is Wilson Harwood. I am the founder and owner of SPYS Designs, and we build sound isolated rooms all over North America and Canada.